So this was the end of day 2 of a gorgeous journey that I was doing across South Sweden, from Malmö, which is my husband's work base, to the cottage that we've got in the forest. My husband, who is Swedish, was working for 4 days and then we were going to go to the cottage. So I thought, why don't I just cycle there? It would take about 4 days, and I thought it'd be interesting just to do a straight line and see what I found. So I had set off 2 days ago. I was doing a mix of gravel tracks and small lanes, wild camping all the way, about 280 kilometres in total. I had with me all the food I needed so that I didn't need to worry about finding food and coffee when I wanted it. So far, I had seen the Skåne region, huge fields, avenues of willow trees, big old landed estates and little white churches. The whole region, Skåne and the neighbouring provinces, was part of Denmark actually until really quite recently, like the late 1600s. I was heading now into an area of thick woods and lakes, the old border, a no man's land between old Denmark and old Sweden.
Well, it's not stopping. So I think I'm just going to make coffee, make porridge, make some pancakes and just have a nice morning. I mean, I'm not in a rush. I've got 60 odd K to do today, according to the plan. 65, something like that. But it doesn't matter if I don't do it because the distances on this journey are quite easy. I've set it at about 65 a day, so I'm not in a rush, which is nice. So yeah, I think I'm just going to take it easy. I haven't even put salt in it, and actually sometimes the simple things taste so good. Quite chilly actually. Put my hat on.
Finally, I decided it was drying up and time to go.
I think the sun's going to come now. Brilliant spot actually. Right, let's go. Goodbye little spot. Beautiful weather now.
So I had camped here and I was aiming to go to Bikepacking, which is this high point here. From there, I thought it looked quite straightforward to just head along the lake to Ekestad and then carry on. Right from the start of the day, the map reading was tricky.
Right, gosh. You would imagine straight, wouldn't you? But it's that way.
For roads, I can use a paper atlas. Here I needed track level mapping and I was using the Swedish Ordnance app, which is brilliant, and I was confident in what I was doing and really enjoying myself. This area is primeval forest that has developed over a long period of time without disturbance by man. This area has one of the largest caves in Sweden, so I went to find it.
Back up here.
I found out later that this cave was one of the hideouts of the Snapphorner guerrillas who fought on the side of Denmark in the wars between Denmark and Sweden in the 1600s.
Wow.
It was somehow creepy.
300 metres.
I wanted to climb up to the top and see the view from the high point.
Oh God, it's still 200 metres from here.
It was really hard pushing my bike up the hill, so I left it by a tree.
Don't need the bike, do I? Don't think anyone's here. Woo. I think I was camping down there, wasn't I?
And when I went down to the path, I couldn't find my bike.
That was silly. I'm just like walking around, I don't know where it is. It's weird. That was silly. I can't believe I've done this. I have literally lost my bike. I lent it up. Shit. Against the tree, but there's like a million trees.
I realised, hold on, maybe this is entirely the wrong part of the wood. So I went back up to the top and I realised there were several tracks down actually, and I had taken the wrong one.
Okay, I went back to the viewpoint and there's another track down. God.
I had to try them each.
Okay, it's not that way. Oh no. Oh, how silly am I?
It was really easy to get confused and I kind of lost my sense of direction.
Where is it? Oh, I love your little bike. God, what a relief. Ah. God, am I glad? That was awful.
But now I'd got another problem. The app that I was using to navigate just went blank, just a white screen. So I pushed on, thinking I would soon arrive at the lake and find my way through.
I hope this is right. I still haven't got any mobile signal, so I'm slightly blind.
It was about 12 o'clock now.
It's just going on and on.
What I didn't realise was I was here trying to go along the side of the lake to Ekestad, which looked easy, but I'd actually gone wrong. And instead of doing that, I was just plunging into this massive network of confusing, interlocking, unlabelled, impossibly difficult tracks going through the wood. And the more I cycled, the more I got lost. I just could not get out of the forest.
I've lost my sense of humour now. I had no idea this wood was... I mean, this is just like a massive network of tracks through a huge forest. I mean, I thought Skåne was flat farmland, you know. And for some reason, the map, that is the thing I'm relying on, has gone blank. I mean, look. It's so difficult. And you just get these signs like, look, Borderlands. I mean, that's no use, is it? Where am I?
So I was trying to get to Ekestad, but I actually gave up trying to do that because it wasn't working. And I aimed for this place, Rötved, instead. But in fact, it's impossible to get to Rötved because no track actually goes through that way. To get there, you'd have to go all the way back to here and then retrace north. I didn't know any of that because I didn't have a map of the tracks.
Right, it's about an hour later and I'm still in the wood.
only signs were these, so this just means pasture road, and it didn't bear any relation to anything on my map.
Right, I'm lost in that area. I've been just turning around in that area. I thought I could maybe get out to Roetved, but it didn't work. I'm trying to get to Arkestad. It's not even very far. But anyway, Ekestad, I think if I follow this quite a long way, I should get there. But I'm really hungry, so I'm going to have lunch now.
So after eating some food, I carried on. I found it frightening now because it was clear no one really used these tracks. Look, this tree is down, you just can't go through.
That is quite tricky. I'm going to try and go round.
I carried on struggling. I had been in the wood 3 hours now, frustrated with myself. The little information I had was not helping, and I was using loads of energy and effort whilst actually having no idea if I was making any progress at all towards getting out of the wood. And it scared me that if something happened to me in here, no one comes here. I am hidden. The whole thing was quite nightmarish. The big mistake I had made actually was not to have downloaded the Swedish Ordnance map to my phone. If I had done that, of course I could have used GPS to pinpoint my location and then easily navigate my way out, however tricky the network of tracks. And I usually do download the maps I need to my phone, but for this trip I had not.
Done it. Oh gosh, I don't think I use this road very much.
It was a massive relief when I saw houses and a way out. I still didn't have my app actually, so I didn't know where I was. I finally got onto a plain, old, boring main road.
Oh, what a relief. That was pretty nightmarish actually. I mean, I was fine, I was picking strawberries and having fun, and then actually that was really... Oh, I've hardly ever been as lost as that. You know, app suddenly didn't work. You see, we're so dependent, aren't we? But I mean, God, that fallen tree was a bit much. Anyway, it's about 2 o'clock and I've hardly done anything today. It's nearly 70k to where I was aiming for, further away, and then I started. Anyway, tired. So anyway, time for coffee soon. Yes.
I was miles behind where I'd hoped to get to that day.
Oh, what a lovely spot. This is Lake Immeln. It's been such a nice little rest, having a coffee here. Right, so I'm going to carry on. I'm actually somewhere around, I think I'm there. So I'm heading up to the end of the map here, a place called Vilshult. So that's the next thing.
I had hoped to ride well into Småland today, but well, never mind. I was short of water now. I'd seen a sign on the road that this was a hembygdsgård, like a little local community museum of rural life, and that it was open on Sunday afternoons, and it was Sunday afternoon.
Oh, tack! Faktiskt, det var bara lite vatten som jag tänkte tigga, lite vatten. Ja. Men jag kommer. Ja, du kan gå in då i köksvägen, ser du? Okej, ja, tack så mycket. Tack. Tack.
Vi hade inte mycket vatten kvar.
Har du inte mycket vatten kvar?
Jo, ja. Vi hade precis nu.
Okej.
Vi använder inte det som är här i brunnen, utan vi tar med eget vatten. Jag vet inte riktigt hur det här vattnet är.
Okay.
So this farmhouse was built in the late 1700s, and its land was farmed by the people here in the old ways up until the 1940s.
Wow. Vem var det som bodde här innan?
Länge tillbaka vet jag att det var 2 systrar.
Ja.
Jag har sett gamla bilder och där går höns och grisar.
Later, I read more about the house and farm. The 2 sisters were called Kerstin and Elna Svensson. In 1942, after both Kerstin and Elna had died, a number of local families took over the place to preserve it.
Jättevackert. Karl, Oskar, Gustav, Niklas, Blueberries! Got all of them. Oh God, how lovely. Right, now keep going. Tailwind. So nice. How lovely is this? Just gliding along. I'm not even pedaling.
So keep on singing to those who listen, 'cause you can make it on your own. Time goes slowly. It's lonely when you got no one on your side. You gotta love one another.
I'm going to test whether the pegs are going because they might not.
'Cause you only got one ride. I heard the falling rain this evening.
Dinner tonight is going to be everything that I've got left, basically.
In a dream. And I got that old time feeling. A little rest is all we really need. So keep on singing.
Ready! So today is going to be quite a long day, actually.
The previous day, I'd actually only gone forward about 40 kilometres. So today, I had to do over 100 kilometres to get to the cottage.
So I'm going to have double pancakes, I think, and try and set off in good time. It's not easy when it's so lovely. I mean, you don't want to rush it, do you?
I heard a ringing bell this morning, and it woke me from a dream. In that dream I heard a warning, saying leave the rest, take only what you need. So keep on singing to those that listen, 'cause you can make it on your own. Time goes slowly, the world gets lonely when you got no one on your side. You got love one another, sister and brother, 'cause you only got one right. I heard the falling rain this evening, and it put me
Really cosy under that cape. I actually quite like it. I'm having fruit. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got it in my nose bag, which is here. Hold on. Can you see it? So I can like nibble bits out of there. It's sunny and rainy all at the same time. Look, blue sky back there. Not so good this way.
Now I was arriving in Småland, leaving the old Danish lands at last, and now I was in ancient Sweden.
You got love one another, sister and brother, 'cause you only got one right. Time goes slowly, the world gets lonely when you got no one on your side.
Oh, sun! God, how nice. High time for lunch actually. I think I can just sit out in the sun. Oh God, how nice. It's quite wet this morning. Whew. Sun for now, so I'm drying off my rain gear. Oh. So that's what we've got left, and loads of butter.
So I had 65 kilometres left to do, and after the cracker breads I had just a packet of nuts to do it on, but I had measured everything really carefully and I knew I would be okay. Småland was going to be a lot of gravel tracks, but it was looking beautiful.
I feel better now after lunch. It was a little bit like, oh, the track just then, but I'm fine actually.
Småland is famous for evergreen forests, poor stony fields and little wooden houses. Småland is huge actually. It's like 50% bigger than Wales. In medieval times, the scattered communities here formed territories or small lands isolated from each other. So the region got its name, the place of small lands.
Hey! Hey! sound of the wind in the trees. And powerful. I feel like we're getting close. I think it's about 20 kilometres from here maybe. So these nuts are the last food I've got. I've got a few garlic cloves and some pancake mix, but I don't have any butter now, so I couldn't even make pancakes. I've eaten everything. I just met a couple, a Canadian guy and a woman from Singapore, cycling, and I'm not sure they were enjoying it actually. I think you've got to learn how to enjoy it here. They were camping in campsites, which is really limiting, because there's not that many, and they're really massive and cater more for motorhomes, actually. And they were relying on cafes and stuff, and there are cafes, but it happens like that they're shut. There aren't really very many cafes, and I mean the only thing you get in the little towns are pizzerias, really. So you've got to be self-contained, take all your food like I did. That helps a lot, and then camp wild, and then it's amazing. So yeah, it's been brilliant. Last bit. It's 5k now from here.
So I had ridden 4 days through Skåne, then through the wild borderlands and into Småland.
So that's it. Thank you for watching and for supporting my channel, and see you soon.
My husband had been at work and had no idea of what I had been getting up to. He just got to the cottage and he was tending the veg patch.